Hey everyone, I hope you all have been having a good day today because these past couple of days have been really fucking crazy. So if you haven't seen my original Sayless video, you'll probably have to watch that video first to understand a whole lot of this video, but I'll throw up a card right here if you haven't seen it and give you a brief recap if you don't give a shit. Anyways, I reviewed and critiqued this guy Isaac Middleton, aka Sayless's music the other day, and that video actually went over pretty well. It was my first video back to YouTube, and me and my friends who helped me come up with that idea were actually really proud of how it turned out. It overall was received pretty well on drop, although there was a delay on posting because apparently Trippy Red and Glaive both decided they want a piece of my revenue, which I gladly gave them because I don't monetize these videos. But now I feel as I kind of owe you all an explanation on what really happened and how I'm here doing what I am doing right now in this video. So without further ado, here is... So the night of July 9th for me and my friends was a really special time, to say the least. They had all helped me come up with the video concept, so me sharing the video with them in its editing stages was really fun to do, and they gave me a lot of good tips and material to work with. I hit upload, waited a couple hours, and eventually the video was published to the world after UMG got their take on my revenue. My friend who had gotten the personal DM from Sayless sent it to him in response. It seemed like the only fitting response we could think of at the time because, well, we're a bunch of dumbasses. And right then was about when everything took a weirdly unexpected turn. Us only knowing the Isaac that we saw online, we were oddly thinking that he was going to get on some tirade against us on Twitter and raise his army of female fans to storm my comment section to say, oh, you know, you stuttered in the video, and oh, your COD gameplay is bad, and oh, you're fucking ugly, but... It actually went in a whole different direction. Within 10 minutes of my friend sending Sayless the link, he messaged my friend back and said he was going to watch it on the big screen in his living room with all of his friends. See, I knew right then that this was either going to turn into Sayless awkwardly crying in front of the Chromecast with his friends, or he was going to appreciate the video and probably wouldn't even be that mad, although we definitely thought of the former happening over the latter. So... we waited. I posted the video on my story, we all laughed and chuckled at the joke that we had created together, and everything was working out just fine. In a weird demented way, we all bonded over the weird inside joke we created of Sayless being a Wendigo-type demon that shows up in the middle of the night to take your things. And just in the middle of us all laughing in a call together, that's when it happened.
Fucked up in a bed right next to me. I know you're leaving in the morning, it's less for me.
Now, when I say that seeing that first DM from Sayless with his actual phone number saying FaceTime me was a little off-putting, I mean it. I mean, don't get me wrong, although I look like the mole rat from Kim Possible with popsicle sticks for arms, you know, I'm not scared of confrontation. But Sayless has one of those die-hard, dedicated fan bases. I mean, I was talking to a kid while making the video that I didn't even know knew Isaac, and he ended up trying to dox me because I made the video. A video I was not even done with yet. So I knew I was in for a very bumpy ride. After getting a drink and getting all my friends together on call to listen to whatever madness was about to ensue, I decided to give him a call. And honestly, he was one of the nicest people I have ever met. It was almost like the persona of Sayless immediately melted, and we actually got along really well. Isaac as a person is very genuine, although he did get his jabs on me when he first started talking. I would share some of the funny banter that we had on this call, but honestly, out of the respect to Isaac, I'll just keep it as a summary. To sum it up, he basically said that I did a really good job in the video, and he gave me some input on some of the things that I said that apparently were not true. For one, the A&R was real, and if you're seeing this, what's up, guy? I forgot the name of that lives with Isaac. And if you're wondering how the A&R got his phone number, it was just in his SoundCloud bio. I just didn't know that. Also, the missing piece that kind of tied Isaac to the A&R was a manager that's pretty well known in the underground, so I'll just leave it at that and you can make your own guesses. Also, he may have made the Dance Alone song first. I don't know. I never really looked into it. I'll just kind of take his word for it. So, what's the next step after that? I mean, I made a new friend in Isaac, I got to talk to his A&R, and I got my friends feeling bad about making fun of someone, which is very hard to do. I mean, what could there possibly be left to talk about? Isaac even co-signed the video, so there's no possible way that any sort of immediate death threat...
I woke up with a brand new depression. Not even Skrillex could give me a blessing. Why are we fighting, girl? Why are you pressing? Why don't you get me? I just want affection.
Look, I know that in the underground, there's a lot of die-hard fans out there. Most people who listen to underground music are anywhere between the ages of 14 and 20, so through that age range, there's a lot of hormones rushing through you at all times, and it makes your emotional spectrum a little crazy for the things you like. However, this kind of blind alignment to your favorite creators is something I see over and over again that's just toxically infiltrating our communities and needs to be stopped. So here's something I think everybody needs to hear. Your favorite rapper cares for your allegiance as much as you're personally connected to them. If you're in the comments of someone talking shit about Lil Tecca defending his every beck and call, Lil Tecca isn't going to find that, get you a chain, and sign you to his label. In the underground, it starts mostly as a personal relationship with the artist that gets you connected to them, and then everything built around that is based on that original personal relationship. If you know the rapper, they'll like you defending them, but if you keep unnecessarily defending them, well, you've become a dick sucker. And that's not in any homophobic context, by the way. I'm not Bandingo YGNE. I'm talking about full-on white knighting someone who claims in their music that they're with the straps and fuck up the ops. If your favorite rapper is as hard as they say they are, let them speak for themselves. There's no reason that you should ever become your favorite rapper's bodyguard unless you have their personal number in your phone. Don't argue for them, don't dox for them, don't target others for them, and especially don't silence critique about them. That critique, if done properly, even if it's disguised in humor in some places, is put there to help them grow as an artist. And if you're buying into the illusion that everyone who critiques someone is a hater, you're doing more harm than someone leaving a hate comment possibly could. So before you target some criticism about your favorite artist, consider the following. Is there anything positive in said critique? What is specifically targeted in the critique? Does the writer of the critique use absolutes like trash and garbage, or are they using subjective language like not for me or needs work? What's the overall message of the thing they're trying to say? Do I really have a strong enough relationship where I'm going to gain anything from targeting this critique? After those simple couple of questions, if that all checks out, your oddly worded death threats and personal attacks on someone's sexuality should oddly check out in your head. And if you're a little slow, I was being sarcastic. Anyways, I know this video was kind of all over the place, but it's about to be really fucking condensed and organized right now. Because I got a little trick up my sleeve, a new segment for this channel. You guys ready for this? Drum roll, please. It's time for the first ever Lizard Boy track review. That's right. I got that new Sayless track fresh off the printer, and I'm about to give it a full-on track review. To give this some sort of structure, I'm going to rate the track in a couple of categories and expand on each one as I go. These categories include presentation, production value, lyrical substance, something I'm coining as bopability, and structure. And of course, a final overall rating. So without a further introduction, Lizthany Boy Tano here to give you my take on Pessimist. I think presentationally, the song does a lot of things right. For one, there's not any obvious influence that pops up in the cover art, although obviously the track is in the vein of the hyperpop era, electro, indie pop stylings that people like Eric and Glaive are continuously keeping alive to this day. My one gripe with this cover art is the fact that he's not looking at the camera, but overall you get what you signed up for, so no surprises. Getting good production slash mixing slash mastering in the underground from someone without a record deal is about as tricky as getting a porcupine out of a mine factory without having it fall out of your bare hands. So when I heard how well put together the overall product was, I was pleasantly surprised. Although the glitch effects, whilst in key, did come off as off-putting sometimes, and the knocking effect scares me every fucking time someone does it, it is very nice to listen to for its overall production value. And big kudos to Michael Warren. He's a brilliant producer, and I'll leave his links in the description. Now I know, just from that number, I imagine a lot of you guys are jumping out and saying, wow, you must really hate how this guy writes, but you'd be wrong. I think a lot of what Isaac is trying to do in this song is creative and unique to him, mixing a lot of what Glaive does with this comedy and tragedy approach with some staples of the vampiric, cannibalistic undertones of rappers like Lil Tracy that are staples in the underground till this day for some odd reason. However, the theme of the whole song was varied throughout the entire thing from beginning to end. There's no real resolution to this story. At first he's talking about this girl that he's obsessed with and hopelessly in love with, but then it just turns to rough animalistic sex with no real absolute at the end. As well as the whole song not really being about him being a pessimist and having it more be in line with the story of a semi-dysfunctional on and off again fling, it really was kind of off-putting to read the lyrics along with the rest of the song. But there was nothing cringy in there or anything that I can quote in my head directly, so he gets points for that. This song definitely catches your attention. From one listen, the song may come off as a little bland and inhibited because it's just a very oversaturated market, but it's the kind of track that grows on you when you fully grasp its production style. If you're even a bit interested in hearing it at the end of this video, just put it in your daily rotation and I'll guarantee you'll keep it on your main driver playlist. For a hyperpop / indie rock fan looking for a bit of variety in your deliveries, give it a shot for sure. This song structurally is very basic for today's standards, but there is still this sort of charm of it being a traditional pop song with these raspy type ad-libs in the back. The delivery is in line with people like Alden, Glaive, Zona, and even Haylog towards the chorus, almost giving a slight punk tinge to this indie pop, hyperpop track. The whole thing honestly is very contained, but for hyperpop that's kind of expected these days. But I will say those effects and supplements do kind of live on a plane of their own, which I think is very interesting. Overall, this song is definitely Isaac's best for sure. If someone who had never heard of him asked me what his music was like, I just play them this song and have them make their own judgment from there. It feels right in place with the rest of the tracks from the hyperpop Spotify playlist, and if you're into people like Zona or Glaive or Eric Doa, Midwest, Wells, Breakins, or anyone else in this indie pop electronic fusion that is modern day hyperpop, go ahead and give it a try. If anything, this track proves that Isaac has a really bright future as an artist, and I'm looking forward to his next drop and hoping that it keeps its originality and artistic expression. Overall, 8 out of 10. Anyways, I'll leave the song to play at the end of this video so you can kind of get a taste of it. Let me know what you think in the comments. And as always, thanks for watching.
So listen close,